All right, everyone. Hey, guys. I wanted to tell you a little story. And this little story is going to take a little while. Some of you have already heard this little story, but I want to put this out there for public view. I really don't have anything to lose. I'm thankful to God for everything He's allowed me to win and every gain that He's allowed me to have in life. I am a living testimony. The fact that I'm here, I really should have been dead. And a lot of people, they say that in cliche, but the reality is, with everything that's going on in this life right now, with people committing suicide, it's time for us to come out of the cave and talk about the things that we've been through. It's time for us to help other people see that it's not just them. I've told a story of living pillar to post. I've told a story of having the worst credit that man's ever seen. I've told the story about bank repossession. I've told the story about all of those different things that happened really very close and up close and personal in my life. I've told the story about abuse. I've told the story about wanting to commit suicide. But now it's time to tell the story about what God wanted and what He wanted in this season for me. And so what God wanted, and I want you to understand before I say this, being a man, I'm going to preface this with, we don't like to talk about nothing. We don't like to talk about nothing as men. As men, we were told to, or some of us were told to suck it up. You know, when we played sports, suck it up, walk it off, be a man, all of these different things. And trust me, some of that I've subscribed to because I can use that as intestinal fortitude to make it. But when I'm weak, it's okay to cry. I'm not always going to be strong. I'm going to mourn. I'm going to do what is said in the book of Ecclesiastes. There's a time and a season for everything. And I wish that someone would have taught me balance, because I move at such a high pace that sometimes I just fall down. I had fallen down multiple times in my life because you can't move at that high of a pace. We're not a machine. We're a man. We're human. At my size, a lot of times, you know, we want to just barrel through, but everything is not by our might or our power. It's not. And it's okay to mourn. It's okay to dream. It's okay to think. It's okay not to be there. It's okay to want it so bad, but just not have it together. And so in my story, I encapsulated myself and only surrounded myself with those who cared about me, because I took on a lot of pain from people, a lot of suffering, and I closed out all other environments. My wife was using the example of Michelle Singletary's, is it a need or a want? My wife and I, we had that old God can, and I can't remember exactly the minister that had it, that came up with it. My God can is sitting around somewhere. I'd love to crack it open to see how many of those things God did. Because He did a lot of things. And He's not scared to do a lot of things. But what He's looking for is a full commitment. Now, when that commitment happens, it's not a fairy tale. And I tell people this all the time. God is not Santa Claus. So when He delivers a message, He expects you or me or any of us to stand on that message and remember. He expects you to write it down in a journal that He said it. He does not like to share His witness or His words with anyone else. What do I mean by that? Sometimes when He delivers us out, we give credit to the person or the thing or the item. We don't give credit to Jehovah. And I'm going to tell you something. Only Jehovah is Jireh. Only Jehovah is your provider. Only Jehovah is Nisi. Only Jehovah is your banner. Only Jehovah is Rapha. Only Jehovah is your healer. Only Jehovah is Shammah. Only Jehovah is there. Only Jehovah is Tiskanu. Only Jehovah is your righteousness. He is the great I am. He is Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. Only He. And there is no demon in hell, no human, no scientist, no anything that can refute that. He came before, He predates all of that. And we can play that game as much as we want to play that game, but I'm not that person. I'm not going to play that game with you. I'm not going to fight for something that's already been won. God is. End of story. I am. End of story. So on April 5th of 2020, and why do I record this? I record this because I don't know. I could die tomorrow. I could die the next second. I want to make sure someone can pick this up and take this and move further, move the ball further, okay? And I'm going to talk about what our needs are. I'm going to talk about what I was given at a very young age. I'm going to talk about the support that our people need, that Black people in general need, right? But then minorities need, right? But with us, it's become a thing of we don't trust anybody. We don't trust ourselves. We don't trust those around us. COVID-19 has created a space where there's even less trust among men. There's people that have done some really bad things, real heinous things towards people. And I'm gonna tell you, there's this capitalistic attitude among men, among some people, where it's all about them and they don't see the problem in that. Well, I do. It's called a pandemic. There's a problem in that. You got to love someone. And then the other person, you can't always be needy. So there's a happy medium in between. You can't always be the one whose number is being called. I got to be the one to get something. No. You got to be the one to figure it out. We all have to do that for ourselves. So what God told me to do, he said, I want you to go out there as a kickstand. As a big brother. I want you to hold your people accountable, but I also want you to hold them up. And I want you to tell them you ain't going nowhere. And so I came up with a moniker. I call it Diamond VIP. I came up with a mastermind. I call it Diamond VIP. But don't get it twisted. Diamond VIP has an outer court, just like the temple. She has an inner court, just like the temple. And then she has the holies of holies. The only difference between the outer court, the inner court, and the holies of holies with Diamond VIP is the outer court is the beginning stage. And most of us start at the beginning stage, and that's okay. Now, I tell everyone that I'm going to be here until we're sipping soup through a straw. Hopefully, I look young enough to you. Still got my chompers. Hopefully, that's going to be a while, okay? But if it's not a while, the whole idea was to set up pre-tenants and rules and regulations and things within the group that allows someone else to be able to pick it up from there and grow it into what it can become and what it's to evolve to be, okay? I do not care how old I am. I don't care what it is. I'm not letting go of the idea because it is a necessary thing that has to happen before I die. So I'm just laying that out there for you, okay? We have to start caring about our brother and sister's hand. He ain't that heavy, he's my brother. We are the ones that we've been looking for. We've been waiting for. We are the ones. Where does this come from for me? Why would God call me out April 5th of 2020? It's simple. My uncles were warriors. My uncles did things for other people before they did things for themselves. My uncles made sure that things happened, right? And I'm going to give credit to the Sherman side of my family because, man, them guys were amazing. They would just do things. Uncle Nate started the Meals on Wheels program in Hamilton, Ohio. He is a legendary local. So I'm giving him in honor his tribute. That's Uncle Nate. That's the only black man you see up there. And they were very big men. They were broad shoulders. They could get it done. They had big hands. They had working hands. And I would watch this man. Not only did he start the NAACP in the 60s, I mean, he went to school. He could redo any TV, rebuild it. He used to have a TV repair shop. But he even did more. He always strived for more in the city. And he always, instead of saying it and being a person of la 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 la, no. He got it done. He just got it done. And not only did he get it done, but there was no braggart in him. He wouldn't brag about it. You know, he just saw what needed to happen and he did his part to stand up and be a man and be accounted for. Uncle Noah's work in Africa, the older brother, 4 years older than Uncle Nate, I'm sure he looked up to him. and what he did. They both went into the Navy, and they became these great men. Can you imagine what being a young boy? I'm the youngest. I'm the baby of that generation, of their kids, right? My mom was the baby, one of the baby sisters. There was 2 baby sisters. Can you imagine what watching and observing those guys was like? If you can't imagine, I need you to take a minute and imagine. I always felt, man, I will never be able to fit in those shoes. Never. No matter what I do, no matter how great. It was a continued legacy of what they left for us. That's what it is. And so at the end of the day, Brian Roberts is no Nathaniel Sherman. Brian Roberts is no Noah Sherman. Brian Roberts has no desire to take away what they laid down. No desire. 0. But I'm going to give honor and tribute to them and what they did. And I want the spirit of them to understand that what you did was so monumental. I saw it, and I love you for it. Now, I'm laying that groundwork down because what I'm about to tell you, I need you to understand that it is spoken in dream, it's spoken in vision, but God wouldn't let me sleep that day because he reminded me of my ancestors. He reminded me of my grandfather who was kicked out of his area, Alabama, for standing up for what he meant and what he was about. Just a coal miner. And he had these sons, you know, and granddaddy was born in 1902. Grandmama was born in 1898. Legacy and history was something that they told us. It was not something that had to be passed down. We would ask a question about a picture. What is that? Who is that? Oh, that's your great grandmama, baby. Slavery was right there attached to us. They were former sharecroppers. They were in Alabama. So you can't tell me about the history of a book. I know it was given to me and I'm proud of it, right? But they didn't hate. They loved. They loved those who loved them. And they built around a stained situation. And I know in the technical age, a lot of people want to go really, really fast and they want to do really, really great things, but you don't have your root. You don't have any roots engrafted into the ground. I'm headed off to a Sierra Leonean wedding to sing tomorrow, on actually Friday and Saturday, all because of Uncle Nate spending his time in Sierra Leone. Didn't talk about it. Grandmama ended up sponsoring someone. He ended up marrying my cousin Joyce. She was an educator. There was plenty of educators in our family. You didn't get to go outside and play without reading a book. Now, I say all this to say, did I have the perfect family? No, I didn't. But there were some strong tenets in that family and some strong backbone in that family and some strong things that they wanted accomplished that I have to finish before I die. And so when I give you this vision, I want you to understand where it comes from, who I am. I was the baby boy, 5 years old, drawing pictures. They were excellent. I would draw pictures, man. We used to have Ebony Jr. back in the day. Only people that are older, like me, 50 or more, will know what the heck Ebony Jr. was. Most people don't even know what the heck Ebony is, let alone Ebony Jr. But we had Ebony and Ebony Jr. And Ebony Jr. on the very back, it had these artistic renderings from children. And my goal as a child was to always, I want to be on the back cover of Ebony Jr. And I would take the best piece of art and duplicate it. And then I would make my own. Christmas time, I would take Snap, Crackle, and Pop and put them in different scenarios all throughout the city. You know, they would be doing, you know, one would be Santa Claus. I made up my own stories. I did all kinds of things. That came natural. That gift came natural. So what I'm about to tell you, I want you to understand, I have seen things since I was a child. So for me, they're absolutely normal. My life has been a manifestation of trusting those things again. And that's why I spoke to your anger. That's why I spoke to those things that men go through and not talking. As a child, my mind was free. My mind was free and open. So I want you to understand the space that Diamond VIP is. It is a mastermind. You can't pay me $1 to get into the Diamond VIP. I wouldn't even accept your dollar because I can't be bought. That's number one. Number two, it is about freedom of thought, people being able to freely express what they're truly feeling in this moment without reservation. I want you to be able to do that. Do I want you to do it all the time? No. But I want you to be able to, in business settings, know that that's business. But in private settings, if you want to bring it and we talk about it, we absolutely can. I'm not scared of you having an opinion or you being a person of worth and value that has passion in your heart, right? The goal was to come and create something that's ours, not just mine, ours, right? And the only way to do that properly, it's not Brian trying to go off and become a star. You know, my wife is a playwright and filmmaker. I'm a promoter. Guess what? I can do that. If that's what I care about, I can do that. I can go on my Facebook and make that happen. I can do the Instagram thing. I can do the YouTube thing. I mean, it's out there, right? That's not what this is about. This is a private setting. This is for you. This is for those who are invited by invitation only. That's why we're called VIP. I don't want everybody. Everyone, maybe you don't know how to sort well enough, right? You don't know that that person's toxic for you. I'm okay with letting you know that. So the vision goes like this. Some will come. This was April 5th of 2020. I'm driving to the Albertsons out here in Las Vegas. I sit still, sitting in my car, in my vision. I wasn't in my car. I was in a Lamborghini Urus. So I'm really wealthy. I have on Louis Vuitton from head to toe. Louis Vuitton from head to toe. I've got on the watch. Man, I got on the glasses. I'm wearing the cologne. I got the full outfit on. I got the belt. I got the shoes. I'm dripping. But the thing I need you to understand is that's not how I roll. That's not how I roll. These glasses are Quays. They're nice, but anyone can afford a pair of Quays. So in my vision, I'm trying to figure me out. I'm like, why does this dude look this way? What is up with this dude? What is this me, right? And I'm laughing at me in my vision. I'm seeing it. I get out of my car. In the vision, someone robs me at gunpoint. Immediately, the guilt of me not caring about my brother comes on my spirit. I freely hand him the keys. All he wanted was the car. And I said, wait, before you go, take all of this too. And I stripped down to just my jockey shorts and a t-shirt. And in the vision, I waved at him like I was waving off a cousin or brother or sister leaving my residence. That was strange to me. So I go in, this is really physical. I go in the store because I'm really out in the physical when this happens. But I close my eyes for a second because this almost like a premonition was coming over me. So I walk in the store and I go, and by the way, guys, when I say visual artist, the reason I can tell this story as accurately as I can tell it is I literally see it right now. I'm walking right now. So just walk with me. And I go inside the store and my whole mindset was, Mama was born in 1931. Daddy was born in 1932. I'm prepared for this moment. Great Depression babies, and they weren't even the oldest in their families. Uncle Noah was born in 1921. Uncle Nate was born in 1925. The list goes on and on. I can't give you the whole list. Daddy was one of 19 kids. Mama was one of 7. And we know how to make do. I remember we would give the air conditioners that we would take out when we got our central air. I remember giving those to my grandmother so she could have air. They didn't have air in Hamilton, Ohio at that time. I remember putting those wall units in with my dad when I was young. So our family always took care of one another, right? We were always around one another. It wasn't about having money. It was about if I had something, you have something. If I've got some food, you've got some food. That's just what it was. And it was friendly. It wasn't about me, you, or I, right? It was just about us. And so as I'm in the store, I'm picking up all of the dry goods because I know these things won't spoil and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if we're going to lose our electric because I don't know if you remember. You got to go back in time, April 5th of 2020. It was wild. And I'll set the stage. There was a gentleman in Detroit, Michigan. It had just been reported. I think it had been reported like April 3rd, like a couple of days, that he died of COVID because he was complaining. There's a video out there. You can look at it. It's out on YouTube. And it's sad to watch. And he said the lady just had no regard for me. You know, she was just coughing and this, that, and the other. And this is a public servant, right? We got to learn how to take, I know there's corrupt people everywhere. But our public servants, they have to go in places that most of us refuse to go while we're sitting there watching our Netflix, our Twitter, our YouTube, we're TikToking, and we're doing all of these things. We got all these freedoms. These people are out there, man, taking all of it, the coughing, the sneezing, and everything. If you remember correctly, loads and loads of the public servants were dying. And right now, it's not the time to take your foot off the gas if you're praying and you're concerned about those people. We got hurricanes down in Fort Myer area, right? I mean, all in that area. Hurricane, just demolished stuff. And our public servants are already exhausted. We're just human beings. That's all we are. And in my networking groups, I've seen more and more life coaches appear that were once doctors, medical doctors. And they're out there trying to help the other ones cope because the people are listening to the news. Man, let me tell you something. I'm gonna correct this real quick. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, or independent. I need you to hush about politics. I don't want to hear it. Go vote for whoever the heck you want to go vote for. I could care. That's your freedom. But we are wearing people out emotionally. Suicide is the #2 cause of death. We have a problem. Houston, there is a problem. So in my vision, I'm watching, well, this isn't vision. This is actually me inside the store. Before I go into the store, a little older lady, and I felt so sorry for her because she was a senior, white lady. And she's like, whatever you do, don't go in there. Now, what was she saying? She was saying we're acting like dogs over toilet paper. Who's going to be first? Some idiot was trying to sell it. You probably remember it. Was trying to sell it on Amazon. I'm going to buy up all the toilet paper. I'm going to get it all. Ain't nobody going to have no toilet paper unless you pay my price. That's what I'm saying when I say, man, I'm so sick and tired of capitalism. That version. Where's the mercy? Where's the mercy on the people? So my wife, she was wise. She found a spot, a location, and we were giving that away, right? We were giving that stuff away because we had an influx of it. I digress. So I get in the car and I drive around the corner back home, and we were living in a gated community. And I pull into my gated community and I'm sitting in the car. Now I've got my groceries. After I watched inside the store, most people leave the dry good aisle alone. And what am I saying? I'm saying they don't know how to cook. They were at the freezer aisle. They had the milk. They had everything else, but they really don't know how to cook. I can take water, some beans, and some flavoring and make some food. They didn't know how to cook. So I'm like, man, that's crazy. I got every type of bean known to man. I got 15 bean soup. I got black beans. I got all this stuff. And as I'm at home, I started thinking, why do I have all this stuff? And why do they not? Oh, yeah, that's right. Mama had me at 40. She was born in 1931. And so I go upstairs and I'm sitting there. Now, what had happened that morning when I got up, I was getting ready to turn on the news. And I heard something say, stop attending to Pharaoh's business. Get up and build for your people. This is before I went to the store. So this is now later in the afternoon. I'm still dealing with it. Earlier that day, I'm sitting in my armchair. And as I'm sitting there resting, a vision comes over my head. Because the first thing that this voice said to me was, instead of worrying about your death, say, I shall not die, but live. And so I say that. This is 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, I had gone to bed at about 1:30 a.m. crying because I love to pray for people, crying for those in Detroit, feeling helpless, like, Lord, what can I do? It seems like my prayers are being absorbed. And the Spirit said, nobody leaves this earth unless I allow it. Hello. So I'm brushing my teeth and I'm looking at the mirror and I'm like, why does it always seem to be the disenfranchised, the African Americans, the black and brown communities? Why does it always seem to be us? And the Spirit said, it's not us. I said, yes, it is, Lord. It's right here. It's right here in front of us. The numbers, the statistics are right there. Look at this man. Look at what he's saying. And the Spirit said, we are the ones who don't have an infrastructure within our communities. We're the ones who don't choose to have an infrastructure within our community. We are the ones who argue and fuss because someone wants to be first and wants to be the big dog. We're the ones. And I said, well, dag, I get it. So if you ever hear me say I'm against capitalism, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about your business or any of that. I could care less about that. I'm against you capitalizing on your brother and sister for wealth. I'm against that. What I'm for is you waking up, becoming responsible, and realizing you are the one you've been waiting for. That's what I'm for. I'm not saying I'm against the infrastructure of the U.S. I'm not saying anything like that. That's crazy talk. I'm not saying that. I know what capitalism has done. I'm against you taking a capitalistic approach towards your brother and sister's hand. He ain't that heavy. He's my brother. And I'm also against the brother on the bottom thinking that that's the way it should always be. He should also take that approach. He ain't that heavy. He's my brother. Who can he reach down to help up and continue to reciprocate that action? Now, how do I know it works? Because my family did it. That's how I know it works. I'm a result of that action. And so I go home and I'm sitting there and I remember the whole prophecy that he laid out. Some will come. I want you to help the people. Get up and help the people. April 5th, 2020. Some will come in 30 days. Some will come in 60 days. Some will come in 90 days. There was a 90-day window I could not see through. And he said, but I want you to tithe into the people. I saw your hairs on top of your head. Have you ever counted those? The Bible says he numbered those. That's how much he loves you. He numbered even the hairs on top of your head. That's an impossibility, really, for us, right? Oh, well, maybe we get the computer and fix. No, you can't do it, okay? Not in reality, you can't do it. And so I'm like, but God, okay, I don't mind helping people, but how? I'd rather give money. And the Spirit said, you will go broke giving money for what's coming. Now, this was April 5th of 2020. Everybody was saying, oh, it's just going to go away. The president at that time was saying we're going to, by April, it'll be gone. It'll just disappear. Poof. We had all these things out there. And I get the mentality of fighting forward and pushing forward and all of those things. I get it. But there's people dying even now from remnants of that moment. And I'm not here to scare you or anything like that, because if you've survived this long, praise God. Thank him. So the Spirit said, don't worry about that. Worry about the people. Okay, Lord, I will. And I saw myself dying, helping people. That's how I saw it. I don't care. I really don't. I'm not here to strain at a gnat for my life. I'd rather give the best of myself at all times than to give the least of myself and wonder what could have happened. That's my motto. And so he said some will come in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And there's some people in the group that know this is true because I told it to them. Met them April 15th of 2020. But then he said, I only want you to talk to 8 people that you know. I said, but God, this is going to be so much harder if I'm talking to 8 people that I know. I've spent all this time. I was homeless. I had all these things going on. I was a promoter. I've been all around cities. I won national awards in sales. I mean, come on, God, this is easy. He said, I don't want it to be easy. And I said, well, why would I go and talk to 8 people all year of 2020 that I know? This is insane. He said, because I want the last to be first and the first to be last. Now, how do you think my family felt about that? I'm headed to a family reunion and they didn't even know. They don't even know what I'm doing. Because that's how obedient I desire to be. He said, tell them last, not at first. That's why I say to you, God is the man at the park. The Holy Spirit is the Frisbee. I'm the dog. Now, our motto for Diamond VIP is, what if you could invest in people like some people invest in the New York Stock Exchange? You, my friend, point to yourself, go look in the mirror, are Brian Lamont Roberts' investment. I don't really need anything else. I'm happy in my life. I really am. But if you're not happy, I need you to join me, believe in yourself, and push forward. Become a better version of yourself. We ain't on no time limit. I don't know how long it's going to take for you to get it. That's not what we're here for. I'm just consistent. I'm going to be here until the wheels fall off, or until I'm too old, or until I close my eyes the final time. That's how long I'm going to be here. And I think you need to decide something like that. You need to commit on that level. You need to commit for a lifetime experience. Because if your answers to your questions have been doubtful, hopeful, resentful, it's never going to change and all that, I came for the most negative Nelly that the earth has ever seen, to prove to you that if you think God can, he will. That's why I'm here. And yes, I believe, and I'm going to tell you without a shadow of a doubt, the beginning of that day, I'd been praying all night, then Lord, what am I going to do? Because obviously I'm not going anywhere. Do you want me to finish those books you gave me to write? His response was no. Stop pretending to Pharaoh's business. Get up and build for your people. I said, Lord, you know I'm a massive prayer warrior. You know I'll pray 8, 9, 10 hours a day. I ain't scared. A lot of folks are scared because they're just reading the Bible. They don't believe the Bible. The Lord said, no. I want you to stop attending to Pharaoh's business. Get up and build for your people. Guys, it's called leaving your comfort zone. I'm so far outside of my comfort zone at this point that I've reestablished new comfort zones. And now I stretch those zones so I'm no longer comfortable there too, because that's the only way you're going to see what God wants you to have. There is no comfortable story. There is no quickie. I know you might get lucky, but I'm going to drop in here a story about Tyler Perry and what happens. You know, he didn't get lucky, but he talks about the tax code and how, you know, they audited him and things happened, right? And he was owed $9 million. Well, lucky him, he was owing, because in most cases it goes the opposite direction, and it's a lot of money. So people are hoping and wishing for things that they're not even mentally prepared for. I would hate to win the lottery. Why do you think their money gets absorbed so quickly? Because they don't know what the heck they're doing. That's why. You you'd be best to get there slow and consistent and be steady for the rest of your life than it is to actually just get a whole bunch and then all of a sudden get a heavy tax bill. I've got some people in this room that have had things like that happen. They're not going to talk about it, but it's happened. You need to wake up. It's not about fast. It's consistency that wins the race. God bless you, Diamond VIP. Hopefully this hasn't been too long. I pray to God this blesses someone's soul. Take care.